Okay, so we're going to use some curved surfaces. This may get a little complicated. If it gets too complicated for you, that's okay. We're just going to try to make something that looks like that. So first of all, I'm going to go to my side view here, and I'm going to use the grid. And if you're on poly modeling, go over to curved surfaces. So we'll use this tool right here, and we're just going to try to mimic the look and feel of that other shape. We may not get it perfect. What I'm trying to do here is use the grid to make it look semi-accurate. We can also go in here and go to Control Vertice, and we can move these points around, try to get it perfect. But we'll leave it something like that. Maybe this down here could be a little more rounded, so I might scale that out. So I might scale these two out right here just a little bit. I'm not sure that that's exactly what this looks like. It looks to me like we could take these 2 points and move them out and then scale them in a little bit more, scale these 2 points in, something like that. So now we have this curve here, and you can see it's large and it's over here. What we're going to do is duplicate it. First we need to go to object mode. We're going to duplicate that curve, move it out ever so slightly. And I'm going to select both of them and go over here to loft, and that creates kind of, it looks like polygons, but we're still in surface mode, so now we have to convert it to polygons before we can fill it. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. If I just go to modify and convert NURBS to polys, I can move this over. And you remember how I said I don't like using triangles? Well, we've got triangles, so we're going to do another operation called mesh and quadrangulate. And that took most of them and turned them into quads for us. But it didn't get all of them. So we're not going to worry about it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and delete this old surface and delete these curves. Select this, and still not very useful for us. And also our control centers over here. So we'll go modify and center pivot. Then we're going to select these edges here, and I'm going to say mesh fill hole. So I've got a couple problems here. I'm going to select all these edges along the top here like this, and in the modeling toolkit I will go ahead and hit bridge like that. Then I'm going to select all these points here and mesh fill hole. Same thing right over here. Shift, double click, and if I just use my middle mouse button and click where I last had an operation, it'll repeat it. Now you can see here that we are seeing the wrong side of the normals. So let's select every face here and go mesh display and reverse. Okay, that was a lot of steps to create this more complex shape. It's simple when you know what you're doing, but I could see that that'd be a little intimidating for you guys. Just consider that a lesson in what's possible. It's much easier to just pull and move points around on polygonal modeling, but as you get more comfortable, try experimenting with using curves, surface modeling. You can get on YouTube and people will tell you all about it, or find some tutorials. So I've got this object here. I need to scale it down and move it into position. Hopefully that wasn't too intimidating for you guys. There's just a million ways to do things in Maya. Maya is really powerful, and some of the options can seem a bit overwhelming at first. So make sure that's just at 90, minus 90 rather. Okay, and then we'll attach these two objects together. Obviously I need to do more scaling there, down and overall. Okay, all that work just for this one little part. Was it worth it? I don't know. You know, this is where you may have to decide, is it really worth it to spend that much time creating all this extra detail? I don't know. But I am going to take this and parent it to this cylinder here. so that I could just spin the cylinder and they'll both move like that. Move that back into position on kind of the lock box. Let's kind of compare it to our reference real quick. Okay, so we need some kind of bolt looking things coming out right there. That looks like a job for another cylinder. So I'll duplicate that. It's going to duplicate both of them because they're parented together. But I can just select this object, delete it. And I'll take this, shorten it, rotate it back in the Y to 0. And I'm going to put that on either side of this little lock mechanism. It's in creating the fine detail that you'll spend most of your time. So that's why even at Pixar they had a rule: don't spend too much time on a penny that sits on a shelf. They used to spend time making it perfectly accurate, but at the end of the day you're never going to get this close to the lock. You're going to be back up in here somewhere as a character. So yes, the more detail we put on this, the better it will look, but at some point we hit diminishing returns where a ton more time spent isn't necessarily going to make it better. So keep that in mind. That's a hard and fast rule of modeling. Only you can really know where that division lies, and you'll figure it out as you go. That just comes with getting better. Okay, so I want to actually add a little bit of depth on these. So and this was a super long lesson. So when we come back, we'll add a little bit more detail on our model.